Shalom. Kahalayim La, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahushua Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers doing this work in truth and sincerity. Shalom. This is the brother Batak back again through the spirit with another lesson. Lord willing, be edifying. The title of this lesson is going to be, if the Lord marks iniquities, who shall stand? So I got this. I was just thinking about recent events in Israel. And on how we are all sinners, man. And I'm a little willing. The Lord keeps putting the spirit on me to push out that vibration, because some people seem to forget that we're all in the same predicament. Speaking about Sakari, Alizé, he want to judge men, great men, for their iniquities or the things that they went off, which we understand through the spirit. But you have sins too. You have iniquities too. Just like Yahushua said to the wicked scribes and Pharisees, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Let me see if I can find that real quick. John 8:7. This is John chapter 8, verse 3. Says, and the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. So she was taken in the act of adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery, in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? So they was testing Yahushua, man. They was testing him. Verse 6, it says, they said tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he had heard them not. So according to what the elders of the apostles of Great Millstone teach, when Yahushua stooped down and started writing on the ground, he was writing their sins. And verse 7 says, so when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. So Yahushua really outsmarted them. Yahushua really outsmarted them. They trying to condemn her when they themselves have iniquities. They have sins. They're not perfect. But they're trying to condemn this woman for committing adultery. They used this situation to try to tempt Yahushua, but in all actuality, it didn't work. So they couldn't do nothing against her because they had sins of them own. Like Yahushua said in Matthew 7, judge not lest ye be judged. Verse 8, it says, and again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, they're like, oh shit. They was thinking with themselves like, oh yeah, I'm a sinner. I've done this, I've done that. They was convicted within them own selves. They was guilty. Let's see what the word convicted means. Well, convicted comes from the word convicted. So it says to convince by arguments, convince of wrongdoing or sin. So they was convinced that look, I be doing wrong. I be going off. I be committing iniquity. They was convinced within themselves. So nobody casted no stones because they knew they were sinners, man. They knew the statement that Yahushua made was true. Like that there was none without sin. None of them without sin. Bear with me 1 second, Baba Kasha. Alright, so they was convicted within themselves because they knew that they had sin. Okay, convict, okay. Oh, see, here it is, the word guilty. Guilty. So they was convicted within themselves because they knew they had sin. John 8 and 9 again, it says, and when they had heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, right, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Yahushua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. The Pharisees therefore said unto him, Thou bearest record of thyself, thy record is not true. So, of course, his own people didn't believe in him, man, But Yahushua didn't condemn that woman because, hey, we're all sinners, man. Yahushua came to help us, to reconcile us. Where was I at? Psalms 130. Get that back real quick. I had to stop and do this lesson real quick. Psalms